Hey everyone, I'm Aaron Cullen.
I'm Brianna Cullen.
And this is Living in Lake Oswego. Duck. We're taking you guys on a stroll here through the Palisades, one of the neighborhoods on the south side of the lake in Lake Oswego. And this actually happens to be the neighborhood we live in with this guy. Stay tuned as we bring you a local's perspective of living in Lake Oswego. First, I'm going to talk about some of the broad scale benefits of living in Lake Oswego. The schools, they're amazing. The top rated actually in the state. And if you're moving here, especially from bigger cities that have not so good public school districts, this is a great option for you. Number two, pride of ownership. The houses are all amazing. It's not a master planned cookie cutter development. Everything feels very custom. Lots of different builders have built here throughout the years, and all the houses for the most part are very different from the inside and the outside. And yes, some of the outsides might look similar as far as building materials that are very common here in the Pacific Northwest, but you're not going to feel like, hey, once I've seen one house, I've seen them all. They're all very, very unique, and you can also customize them if you wanted. So there's a lot of opportunity there to buy something that is outdated, because a lot of the stock is, but then put your own touch on it. Number three, it's so close to downtown Portland. I think that was the other thing that really attracted us to Lake Oswego besides the schools, was that we also still felt like we were in Portland. We're literally only a 20-minute drive to be downtown. A few minutes away from here, and you can be in wine country, farmland, pumpkin picking. All those amazing things that you get from being in the country is literally just minutes away here from Lake Oswego, but you're still close to the city. And I think there's a lot of upside as we go in time and Portland grows. I think Lake Oswego, just in price, is just going to keep going up and up because it is so close to downtown, and you're not going to have a big commute like you would in some of these other suburbs. Number four, there's an amazing lake. This is the only lake in Portland. And even though there's tons of rivers going throughout Portland, this is the lake for Portland, but it is a private lake. So you need to have an easement to that lake, to rights to use the lake or to put a boat on it. So it is limited to about 3,000 houses here in Lake Oswego. So definitely reach out if that's one of your top priorities. And number five, the park systems. There's like 29 public parks here in Lake Oswego, and they're all really cool. Some really small, some really big. If you love being outdoors, going for walks, having that integrated into your community, this could be a good matchup for you.
I've gone running through this neighborhood. So when I first started running through here, there are certain things you can only discover on foot, I feel like. And so this is one of them. We're coming up on a cul-de-sac right now, and there's a little path that actually takes you through this street just by foot. And as I was running, I realized that right down here to the right is a trailhead that goes into Cook's Butte Park, which is a butte in Lake Oswego that has some amazing views, very forested trails, and along some of the trails in there in the summertime we can go blackberry picking. And so, you know, for me, there's nothing more wholesome or Pacific Northwest than taking your kids berry picking in the summertime, and to be able to just stumble upon that while out for a jog from our house, I feel like really represents some of what I love about living here. That trail through Cook's Butte turns into a path that then can get you to Lusher Farm, which is one of my very favorite places in Lake Oswego. It's a working farm and community garden that belongs to the city now, and the city uses for all kinds of events and activities. It has just really beautiful gardens and really beautiful fields, walking trails. We love taking our daughter there. We have a CSA there. We have picnics there all the time. One of those things that, you know, you couldn't know before you moved somewhere. like I couldn't have known that Lesher Farm was going to be one of my favorite things about living in Lake Oswego, and yet it adds so much to our life.
One of the reasons that a lot of people from the Bay Area move here, and even Southern California, but especially the Bay Area, because the weather here is very similar, but you do get that true 4 seasons here. How's the experience been for you?
Well, I think, I don't know, do people move here for the weather? I was like Googling whether I was going to make it through the winter seasons here. I was really worried about it, honestly.
I don't know if they move here for the weather, but it's very close. It's a temperate climate here. And so I'm going into the minds of the Bay Area residents that it's not a far stretch.
Well, it's September here right now, and it is honestly glorious. It's so beautiful. It's been so crisp and clear, and I'm getting that fall vibe. And I am surprised by how much I've loved having 4 seasons. It just makes me feel so festive during the fall and winter, especially as the leaves change. Actually, you can hear me like crunching on leaves underfoot right now. The leaves are starting to change. The light is starting to change. We get beautiful fall foliage in the Pacific Northwest. And you really get that seasonal feeling, like I mentioned, because you can go berry picking. We went apple picking with friends last weekend at a farm not too far from home. One of the things that kind of goes along with the seasons and the festivity for me that I really didn't realize or didn't expect when we moved here is just how much the city of Lake Oswego wants its residents to be happy. I don't know, coming from a bigger city, I don't think you really know what that's like, but this town is organized toward its residents enjoying and having a good quality of life here. I think for everyone, but especially for families with kids, there are so many activities, you know, whether it's drive-in movies in a big field or summer concerts, events geared around Halloween and trick-or-treating with kids. And then in the summertime, the farmer's market, and in the winter, there's a harvest market for Thanksgiving and a Christmas tree lighting ceremony over Thanksgiving weekend in the square downtown, and just those experiences that create that festive, wholesome feeling. I remember driving around like right between Thanksgiving and Christmas and just feeling so grateful for living here. It sounds really cheesy, but it's true. It like warms my heart.
Yeah, it's very special. What did your sister say when she visited for
My sister
Christmas?
came and visited us for Thanksgiving, actually, and that was the weekend that there was the tree lighting ceremony. And we went down to the square, and they were giving out hot chocolate and treats. And my sister said that it was like a Hallmark movie. It was like her dream Christmas.
Yeah.
And it really does feel like that.
Now let's get to something that you really don't like about living here.
Well, I think the main thing for me, if I could have anything, would be that we could like walk to a coffee shop or walk to dinner. And from our neighborhood, it's just a long walk and very hilly. So there are neighborhoods in Lake Oswego where that's more possible, but it's not ever going to be like an urban neighborhood in terms of that like walkable living.
There's one section here in Lake Oswego, and that's the first edition. I have another video if you want to check that out.
And Lake Grove too, I would say you can walk to like the Zupans area, Mercado Grove probably.
That's right.
But down over here on the south side of the lake, it's a lot harder to come by.
On the other hand, you're only literally a few minutes drive, 5 minutes drive, and you're in first edition and all the shopping and stuff like that. So that's pretty easy for us. But on the plus side, you're in this really hilly area, and it's, you know, very mature vegetation and all the trails right around here. So it's a good trade-off, and it is a little cheaper price point here versus, you know, first edition. You're going to pay a premium to live in that flat section, walking distance to all the shops. So for us, we like to get out and walk and hike a lot. So it was a good trade-off for us, and it fit in our price point.
Yeah.
All right, now here we are in Old Town, Lake Oswego. This neighborhood is really magical. This is one of the original neighborhoods for Lake Oswego. The old furnace is right down the hill here in the park, but there's a lot of character here, a lot of really old homes from the 1800s. And right in front of us is this 150-year-old cedar tree. There's two of them, twins. It's on the heritage landmark for Lake Oswego. There's a lot of trees like that around town.
If you're from, New England or Europe, you can laugh at us in our old town from 1850. But that's pretty old for the West Coast and definitely for Lake Oswego. Yeah. This is a super charming neighborhood with lots of gardens, and it's one of the few little pockets of Lake Oswego that's very walkable to downtown and to shops. Whole Foods is right down here. So this, and then you're right on the river. So this is just a great pocket, great location.
Yeah, I mean, the river is literally right behind this camera, right over here. And we're raised up, so it's about, 70, 80 feet down this little cliff here.
Let's go for a walk.
Yeah, let's go for a walk and show you some of the neighborhood.
One of the things that I love about this neighborhood is just all the gardens. I saw a woman out gardening up the street, taking care of flowers. These houses are just spilling over with wildflowers. There's just a very charming feeling.
Yeah, and this section of town can get pretty packed because there's this really cool park, which is right behind us. So on weekends, this area does get a lot more congested than it is right now. Right now, there's no traffic. Super quiet, everybody's at work. But on the weekends, especially in the summers, it gets a little crazy right down there at the park. Everyone comes there, even people that don't live in Lake Oswego come there for the beach and the river access. We go there all the time in the summer, and it's a great place if you have a paddleboard or a kayak. You can just come, it's a public place to come put that stuff in right there. So really easy access right there. And they actually do a rental for a few months in the summer, or if you don't have any of that gear, you can come down and rent that stuff. So they actually have condos in this old town district, and they have apartments as well. They have a couple different apartment areas and just smaller buildings where there might be like 4 units up to 12 units for apartments and condos. And they actually have a big condo development right down here, just down this street over here. Check out some of these houses, are really cool. You've seen us pass by. They're over 100 years old. Some of these houses, like this one right behind me. Really neat. And they're completely restored, so they look amazing.
One of the things about this neighborhood, especially because you're between the Willamette River and the lake, but it's also true of a lot of parts of Lake Oswego, is that you just feel like you're on the water. And so these houses have a little bit of a beachy vibe.
That's right.
And even though where we are, for example, in the hills surrounded by pine trees, doesn't feel beachy at all, in just a minute you can be down into an area that has that waterfront feeling that just gives a little bit of like a holiday feel, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. And this neighborhood is really cool just for biking and walking. There's always a ton of bikers. They have a trail that goes right along here that people go biking from down through this neighborhood, and then the trail goes around the river and kind of follows it down south on Lake Oswego.
So one thing about being this close to the water is that it probably makes it more expensive, right?
It definitely is. It definitely is. Things are really priced in Lake Oswego. If you have a view, you're gonna pay an extra premium. If you have water access, you're gonna pay a premium. If you are on the river or on the lake, then you pay a really high premium. So all these houses right behind us are gonna be well over $1 million. Probably that $1.5 million at the cheapest for kind of a dump. That needs to be fixed up quite a bit. And prices overall in Lake Oswego are climbing really fast. We moved here 2.5 years ago, and our house has already appreciated 30%, or a little bit more, just in that 2.5 year period. So, because of the pandemic, everything has really appreciated this last year. Depending on where you live, in Portland and overall is appreciated like 15%. So you could be anywhere from 15 to 20% just in 1 year. And they're predicting appreciating like maybe around 12% this year as well. So if you're thinking about moving to Lake Oswego or Portland, now is a great time. Interest rates, as everybody knows, are really low right now. So the affordability is still really good in Portland overall, even though prices have gone up about 15 to 20%, depending on what part of town you're looking at. But that's really across the country. So with interest rates really low and the overall affordability index in Portland is still really good compared to your high cost of living cities. So it's still a good time, in my opinion, to buy here in Portland.
Yeah, one of the things that I really value about Lake Oswego and about Portland is that it has all the amenities of a big city, like, you know, a San Francisco or a Seattle. And, you know, in terms of having a great airport where you can get anywhere you want to go and great restaurants and museums, but it also still has a small town feel. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
If you have specific questions about Lake Oswego, definitely give myself a call. And if you want to talk to Bran as well, my wife, I'd be happy to connect you with her as well to get a woman's input from it, which is very valuable. Reach out to me if you have any specific questions. I'm happy to answer them. And or if you just need to do a property search, you know, reach out, give me a call. I'm a local real estate agent. That's what I'm here for. And then right behind me is a cool little pavilion with picnic tables and great little green space area. We'll often see groups doing barbecues and stuff out there. So, and then right up here is this great little area for kids. It's a little kid park.
And then tennis courts, which are pretty much now pickleball courts, I think.
Yeah.
That are always hopping, and then some like multi-purpose fields for soccer on the weekends.
So these are part of the hills that we're talking about. I'm getting my workout in. Didn't even know it. All right, that wraps up this video. Please reach out to me. Hit the subscribe button down there if you want to get more updates. I'm hitting up new videos on being released every week. So check it out. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this. And we're giving all kinds of other updates. What else do we got?
Yeah, I just think if you're interested in Lake Oswego and you have any questions, please reach out because we love to talk about it. We also send out a monthly newsletter with local events and local businesses highlighted, so you can learn a little bit more there as well. We'll put the link for signing up below.
All right, guys. See you on the next one.